Welcome everyone to episode 66 of Just Joshing, the first post-WWC edition. Post-WWC being When Words Collide. I am your host, Joshua Penteloresco. I write stuff and podcast too, and this is the start of towards the end of the year. My guest today is Brian Hades of Edge Publishing. But first, since I am a publicist, I should begin by publicizing my clients. Craig DeLuey's books, Crash Dive and Silent Running, out of his Crash Dive series, which is Horatio Hornblower and Submarines, for those people who want the tagline, is now available in paperback. You can also get them where at Amazon, where other books are sold, Barnes & Noble, Chapters, you name it, but also you still can get them as ebooks along with the third book, Battle Stations. Craig DeLuey can be found at worldwideweb.craigdeluey.com. He is an amazing horror author. He's going into military fiction, and he's kicking butt, man. It's unbelievable. My other client, Chris Mars, Entangled Souls, the collector's edition, is available now. You can order it on Amazon.com. As soon as all the collector's editions are done, the paperback will be released. I encourage you all to get it. Chris Mars is probably one of the best character writers I know. Her with her mentor, Jean O'Neill, is kicking butt. I haven't read Entangled Souls just yet. I'm hoping to do so soon. I'll give you my review of it when I do. But you can also find Chris Mars on her website at worldwideweb.hauntedmars.com. Get to know her, say hi. She rocks. She really does. Alright, let's get to it. Wow. I am crazy. I had a thought last tonight, a couple of thoughts tonight. And the first thought isn't really that important for this podcast. The second thought, however, is, if all goes to plan, in 7 months, I will be taking my first serious break from my day job. It's possible. I did the math in my head. A couple things have to go my way, but it can be done. And even if it's just for a short time, I have 3 books coming out next year. And I am insane to even try this, but I have 3 freaking books coming out next year. I have Cloud Diver, which I will finish this week. I will finish it this week. I will finish it this week. I swear to all on this podcast. I am going to a writing marathon this weekend armed with my notebook, armed with some really horrible music that only I will be able to listen to, and as well as good stuff too, like maybe some Vanessa Cardaway, who was my guest. I actually should take a quick moment and mention Vanessa really quickly. Vanessa is well on her way to setting probably my best record. I'd like to take some credit for it, just using some basic tools like Buffer and a few things on my Twitter, but I think it's just been one of those weird confluences. Right now, Vanessa is literally within 10 votes of my most popular podcast. If you want to go watch or hear the previous episode, you really should. It's one of my favorites. You should check it out. Actually, the whole list here right now is really good. I actually really sad that I took down Ella's. I am going to say this, though. My YouTube channel, Joshua Penteloresco, will build an archive. I'm a little behind where I should be right now with it, but I am putting them up one at a time. I have currently Virginia Carraway Stark, Claire Marshall, Tony Penteloresco, and Miranda O currently up on my YouTube channel. I'm hoping to have Lisa Descande and Mickey Mickelson done before the end of this week as well. Just to get the podcast slowly back up to speed, I want to get some more interviews up, like Megan Hutchinson and Terry Moore, because Megan's launching Rockstars. Terry's got Motor Girl right now. Lots of cool things are happening for me at this moment in time. Like 3 freaking books next year. The Cloud Diver, The Wandering God, and an untitled 3rd book, which will be my first foray into horror. I'm actually doing research right now on witches and Inquisition and trials, and I'm not really giving away too much when I say that. It's a co-writing job, so I've never done co-writing before, but I'm really excited. Virginia, which I mentioned earlier in the episode, she's the co-writer, and we're gonna rock it. But I'm actually really excited. I may be free of doing stuff for people to pursue my career by June next year. That excites me. I'm elated. I wish there was literally someone I could give a big giant hug and kiss for. So for me to you guys, mwah! Let's do this. Okay. Brian Hades is Me and him have an interesting relationship. I think he's a little terrified of me, to be honest with you. I kind of go all over the place. I'm kind of one of those guys that kind of marches to the beat of his own drum and does his thing, and I kick ass at it because I'm awesome and made of cheese. Brian admires the hell out of that. I think I admire him because he's slowly been carving a niche for himself in publishing. Edge Books is a solid middle-sized publishing house. They are going into the cutting edge in terms of ebooks and things like that. And it's growing and expanding. They just got into a partnership with Creative Edge. Brian's always got good books coming out from a bunch of different authors. Jane McLaughlin, who's been on the podcast before. Michael Martinick, who's just a recent episode. They're Edge authors. There's, like I said, really, really good books out there, and you should really check them out. Brian, though, is the mastermind, the collaborator, the Mr. Burns to everybody else's Springfield nuclear power plant, if you will. I'm sure if he's listening to this podcast, he might get a small kick out of that. But shrewd dude. I'm going to tell a couple IA Brian story before I get to the podcast. So about 2 more minutes and I'll be there. Trust me. But this is worth it. Brian interviewed me in my first written interview for Brian. Brian and me were just talking, and I think it was for him a chance to get to know the mind behind the madness a little bit better. And somewhere along the way when I was interviewing him, he interviewed me. Simon Rose, rightfully so, gets the biggest credit for how I changed my interview style. But Ryan definitely was a step in the right direction, and he's trying to figure out how to make people work, how to make people fit. And at some point, I need to write something for Edge. It's on the to-do list next year. But anyways, enough about me. Let's get to the interview after these messages from my great sponsor, me. Tired of buying t-shirts, coffee cups, and other memorabilia that all podcasts seem to have? I sincerely hope not, because I'm jumping aboard this gravy train right now. That's right. You can be the proud owner of a Just Joshing t-shirt, photographic print, and coffee cup at my Redbubble store. Redbubble has one-click ordering and will ship anywhere in North America. Check out http://worldwideweb.redbubble.com/people/jpenteloresco for more details.
You have the ability to use words, right? You can create stuff. You can create visuals, text-wise.
Absolutely. But no, I understand. I'm just turning these on. So I understand that. I just understand where the mediums are going. I actually, when I interviewed On Spec, so I interviewed Kate. I got a writing gig for it actually from her, a nonfiction one. So,
I'm throwing down.
No, it's okay. That's cool. You can interview me too. It's all good. You interviewed me last time you did this too.
I know, I turned it on its head. Yeah. I'll try not to do that.
Oh, that's okay. You can do that again. We're going to talk as we talk. But and then that's pretty much, I don't know. Have you listened to any of my podcasts?
I haven't had a chance to. Sorry. Don't publish that part.
I will publish that part. It's okay. It's all good. No, it's just they're conversations and they just go all over the place. I talked.
I like that.
Yeah. Terry Moore, I found out, he's a huge Beatles fan. That to me was like, ooh, that's cool. Megan Hutchison was probably the most fun I had, but the most listened to one was the one I just recently published with Brendan Nagatal.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, he's an EMT, then he's an artist, and I met him at the Winnipeg Retreat, and we just basically did a podcast on the car ride home, but people liked it, because it's...
That's a cool thing, where you can get down and be honest and be true about what you're doing, what your art's all about.
Well, that was why I did. I'm actually got a cool crew in Winnipeg that I actually go and hang out with when I go over there.
Yeah.
Chadwick's part of it, but mostly it's Christine Steenham and Andrew Lawrence and a couple other people like that. And
you're hanging with a good crowd.
Yes, I know. I seem to draw good people to me. I don't know how I do it, but...
It's your charming talent.
Yes, it seems to be.
Yeah.
Seems to be. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I met Andrew online over comics. We were just talking comics, and he's the one who originally gave me the idea of what to do with Instagram. It just really clicked on Sunday how to do it. The biggest thing I have to work on with it now is I gotta see if Instagram lets you do blank canvas, because I can do the cliche opening and then just go from there. But also talk about the general fear of actually doing something new and different, because a lot of people get that.
That's the whole creative process, right? If you're a writer, you sit with a blank screen for a long, long time before the words start to fill up the page, right?
Yes, exactly.
And same with publishing. It's like we take on a new project and we're looking at it, and it's like total blank canvas. So what are we going to do next? What category are we going to do next? And then you look at your paint box, which is all of submissions, and you say, okay, let's go this way.
Nice. Actually, I've been meaning to ask you this for one long time, because I actually get this impression sometimes I do this to you.
Son of a gun, what is it?
Do I scare you?
No, why?
Because I sometimes get this feeling you admire me, and yet at the same time you're kind of a little scared, because I literally follow my own drum to
No. It's not a scare thing. What it is I like to listen to people.
Yes.
So when you talk, and you do like to talk.
I do, absolutely.
I like to listen, and you have interesting things to say, and I assume interesting people to interview and talk to, so
Absolutely.
That makes me want to understand who you are and what you do, and I can learn more by listening to you than I can by telling you something about me.
That's
and
true.
Gauging your reaction. Right?
Yeah, because every once in a while you get this look on, like it's like it seems like I like what you're doing. I'm a little scared too.
Well, you don't know. I don't know where you're going to go next, right?
Yeah,
so
yes.
there's always that fear factor whenever you're doing an especially recorded interview.
Yes.
Like, are you going to actually go somewhere where I don't know the answer to what you might be asking?
But there's nothing wrong with not knowing the answer.
Well, yes, but it's taken me 16 years in this business to realize that I don't have to be an expert. And every day that that lesson comes home to me.
It's good. So, actually, I should actually talk. Are you happy for Ella? So, yeah.
Absolutely, it's a great change for her. I mean, well, let me just see. Let's rephrase that. It's not really a change for her because she's not doing anything different. She's just focusing on one person, as opposed to one person a week. And that, she built up a lot of chops doing that with the Edge Light line, figuring out how to talk to people, what to do with people, how to get the stories edited and put together properly.
I saw the website they built.
Yeah.
He's got one hell of a platform. So I made a couple little suggestions, but nothing big. Like it's in terms of the concept, so sound. It's wow.
Yeah, it's all well worked out, and for a year, Ron sat in my office and wrote. And now he's writing at home, and he just recently said, I really miss the office because there's so many things to do at home. When you're away from your own home environment, whether you can do that physically like he did by coming to our office, or whether you can do that mentally, in your own home where you're writing, your own writing studio, it makes a big, big difference in how creative you can be.
My big thing is I tend to forget certain things if I'm into it long enough, like eating and sleeping. These
are bad things to forget.
They are, but it happens. No, it legit happens because you just get so caught up. Like, whether I'm talking to someone like Virginia Stark, who that's the next podcast. So this is going to be anyone this has actually been being talked about. She talked about a robot for 5 minutes. This is kind of the fun stuff. That's why I still do interviews. Is I get to meet people and I get to see them in a really unique way,
sure.
and it's so fun. But and then I accidentally became a publicist.
There you go. Yes, I've heard this is your new take on life.
Yeah, well, it was more like it was given to me on my lap, and now I figured it out over the weekend. My biggest mistake, two things. Time killed me the first month, but the other thing is you get really tentative when you do something you don't really have any idea about, and especially when it's for other people.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You get really tentative, and you get really kind of gung-shy, and you get really... So, what I decided, though, I think over the weekend is, I still care, they're my priority, but I'm going to approach this like I approach things when I do something for me. Yeah. I can't do anything different, and even though it's not me, it's kind of still is.
Well, it has to be you. It's got your thumbprint all over it.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's your style of writing. The content may be not your content, but the way you write about it has to be very connected to you. And it should be connected to you because you're going to create that image for another person based on the news release that you write for them, based on the media stuff that you get them involved with.
Yes.
That point of contact, the media people come to you, you're that representative. You have to be your voice, true and honest, representing that other person's work.
Exactly, and that's what I'm ready to do that.
Yeah.
And it's been where I started. I'm going to some interesting spots for both of them. I'm trying. I discovered some interesting things about the U.S. military because Craig's got a book series, and I decided see if I can get it in there.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they don't have an ebook program. It's still not going to stop me from trying some other things, though. But again, I'm exploring, and I can be bold because I look at it, I really don't lose anything.
No, well, these days there's very little to lose.
Yes.
You should experiment as much as you can. I mean, I think writers should do the same thing. Publishers the same way. Publishers have been stuck in a model for hundreds of years of producing books one way, and it's been a very, very short blip of time for publishers to start thinking about the e-world and what e-books are and what e-book content is. And there's always these questions: is it just a book, converted to pixels, or should it be more?
It should be more. I talked to Liana about some of her ideas, and they were those are neat. I figured out about 2 years ago that I'm talking to you on the phone. You're recording me on the phone.
Yeah.
Everybody has a phone. Even more, television, as we know it, is no longer the dominant medium. Computers are not the dominant medium anymore. It's your phone. So I think an ebook should be something designed for your phone, something that's interactive, for your phone. The best, Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys.
Augmented reality on steroids.
Exactly,
yeah.
But also very interactive, and it creates an experience. And I think ebooks have to. Ebooks, I think, will become truly the dominant thing the moment their experience is truly unique.
Yeah.
Because the problem with an ebook right now is I read it. Don't get me wrong, it's handy. If I'm on the road, I can read it on my phone. I can, and that's great. But I still prefer a book because a book is an experience I cannot get on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. And but there are ways with the phone to change that. I can only do on a mobile phone that I can't do on a book. And,
Right.
and the moment you do that.
There's a different experience for every person. They like certain things. I mean, I know lots of people who would never ever want to read on any other device except a paper-bound book device.
Absolutely.
And I can call it a device
It
because
is.
I see it that way.
It is a device.
And there are others who want the portability of an ebook or just the text only. There are others who need the research capabilities of interactive videos, especially if it's a non-fiction book. And even a fiction book with reality, history that's got connections, maybe in a bibliography at the end. Those things can all be presented. All of our books, many people don't know this little known fact, all of our books have a QR code on the back. And if you have a QR code scanner on your phone, you can go to the bookstore, click on the QR code, and it'll introduce you to the author. A little video of the author saying, hi,
That's cool.
Here's who I am, and here's my book, and amongst all these other books, thanks for picking me.
You should send me one of them.
Yeah.
You should send me a link to one. So what I'll do is when I put you up, I'll actually highlight that.
Good idea. I'll do that.
Yeah. So because it's a cool little bonus that people aren't aware of.
Yeah,
It's
we introduce a lot of things, sort of subtly, because there's no point making a big fanfare about them until they prove themselves.
But this goes back to what I said off the record. Use your Twitter and Instagram, man, to do it.
That's the interesting point. When does something actually get released to the world these days? There used to be a time where you had years and years and years of preparation, years of writing, some years of editing, and sitting down with marketing people, creating advertising. It could take a long time to put out a project only 25 years ago. Nowadays, that time is much, much less. If you have an idea, pretty much you better get it out there next week.
Well, it's because the world has gotten quicker.
Faster, more connected.
Yeah, so information is, again, going back to the phone here, it's I can access information if I want about anything. Get some really suspicious looks from our government, some of the things I will look up to, but that's okay. Right? That's the nature of the beast, right? But now, again, media is now a lot more user dictated in terms of, you can see it in terms of even how our marketing's done. It's all niche, everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Right, so
there's no point reaching beyond the people, the crowd, the interested parties that you need to reach beyond, because that's just wasted everything.
Absolutely.
Wasted time, effort, energy, pixels, bandwidth, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely, and you can't get that time back. So, but like I said, going back to you, so Edge Man, I mean, you got these cool videos. So put them on your Instagram, put them on your Twitter, put them on your Facebook, even.
Yeah. You know what? There's still that one factor in real world terms that we can't manage yet, and that's time.
Nope.
It all takes time to make these things. It takes time to make a video, to get it recorded, to get it into the right person's hands. As soon as you have it, you can get it out there. But you still got to make it. You still have to record it. You still have to sit down at this lovely Starbucks and have a conversation.
That's right. Well, but that's part of the. I hope that doesn't change because we get to that point where we're traveling. Then what's the point?
Well, there will be a point not too far from the future, and it's been in science fiction novels and short stories for a long time, where the objects that we have are going to be interpretive. So you will no longer get a voice recording from a phone call. You'll get your cell phone talking to you and saying, hey, your mom called and wants to have you over for dinner on Sunday. It'll be this third-party intermediate sort of filter that you can program and say, yeah, no, I don't want to hear from my mom. I'm a little on the outs with her, so don't answer any calls. And the phone's liable to respond, well, your mom gave you life, and you really should deserve to take her call. So no, I'm not going to filter that.
You should write that. You should. I know you don't have much time these days for that kind of thing, but you should write that. That'd be hilarious.
There's going to be big changes.
Absolutely.
When Words Collide in the vendors room, which is a lot of publishers, a lot of book people there, I made this prediction and said within 10 years, and I'm sure it'll be less than 10 years, that room will still be full of publishers, but there will be no actual books on display. It'll be monitors. You can go and look at a book, look at the cover, look at the author's bio, and instantly download it to your device, or instantly send it to the back of the room where there will be an espresso printing machine and take away your printed copy.
Absolutely. You're talking about 3D printing
a
little bit. Yeah. That's what you're talking about there.
Instant printing. Instant printing.
Absolutely.
2 minutes later, by the time you walk to the back of the room, there's your book.
Well, no, and that's, so we're talking about replicators. We're talking about the old replicator concept from Star Trek, actually, there. No, it's coming. Phoenix last year, I was at the Phoenix Comic Convention. Beside me, all weekend long, was this 3D printer, and I got to watch the thing work.
Sure.
And I realized that my day job, is obsolete. It's obsolete because why would I deliver a package if I can just print it?
Sure.
Right?
There it is.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I want to sell down like, this whole model's doomed. It doesn't matter what they come up with in the next 10 years. If they don't change the model. And it also occurred to me IP's where the real money is going to be in the next 20 years.
You think about real objects like motor mechanics, right? Mm-hmm. They need all kinds of wrenches. They need metric wrenches. They need standard measure wrenches. Wrenches can cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And, they get stolen, they get lost, they get misplaced. Just walk over, hit a button and say, I need a 3/8-inch standard American size wrench. A couple of minutes later, you've got it, you make your repair, you throw it back in the hopper, melt it down for the next time you need a different size wrench. I mean, these things are all possible today, but they're just not really widely in use yet.
No.
That'll happen soon.
Absolutely, no, and it's going to change, like manufacturing will change, and then the rest of what I call the Industrial Revolution will collapse into whatever we're going into next at that point, which will be a good thing. I think, talk about how change is constant, I think at this point, the world is ready to change.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen one way or the other within the next 10 years. Although I think the biggest three questions we're going to have are, what is human? Right? Just hearing what people are struggling with coming up with today compared to what I struggled with when I was a teenager is very, very different.
Yep.
And we're asking those questions more and more, even at a teenage level, which is like, whoa. Then there's then what is real? Because now, again, going back to say that there's no books, downloading or printing, ownership's, the whole idea of ownership's going to change.
Right. Yeah, right now at this very moment, there's a big uptick in juvenile and YA books in print, as real objects being purchased. And that uptick is being sort of considered to be the fact that particular strata financially of people want to own things. They don't have a lot of things in their life that they do own, so a book is something they can afford to keep. But in the future, that may not be the thing that they want to own. They might want to own the 3D printer, instant bookmaker, all of these things that could provide them, let's say a clothing manufacturing station where you have a closet. You say, for instance, in the 50s, closets in houses were very small. You owned a suit, you owned a jacket, you owned a dress, one pair of shoes, that's all you could afford in the 50s, right? And as the economy got better, we have these larger houses.
Hello, you again.
We have larger houses, larger closets,
Yes.
more clothes. But in the future, we can have smaller closets because we can say, I want a new shirt today, I want this one. It prints out the shirt for you, you wear it, you put it back in the hopper. Next day, you've got a different shirt.
Yeah, like I said, I was thinking about if I were to do a business model with that in the future, I'd be worried about intellectual property. It's not going to be the actual physical thing that makes money, it's the code.
Right.
It's the actual, ironically enough, the written properties of it. They're actually going to...
That's very ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. And I was thinking about that, and I actually contemplated pitching it to my day job.
Yeah.
The only problem is they're not going to pay me for it.
No, but you can develop things that you can get paid for later. Or generate income. The future model of getting paid may go away pretty quickly, actually, and we may all be in a very big pool of equal share payments.
We might be. Actually, what I think it's going to be is it's going to be building little streams. And this is what, like, my podcast, for example, is currently on Podmatic.com.
Yeah.
I will be putting my podcast episodes, past and present, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Because Google will pay you X amount of dollars if so many people click on it.
Yeah.
I have good and I like to think my podcast has gotten better, so, there's that.
My prediction years ago in relative terms, so maybe 5 years ago, is that eventually all creative endeavors, whether that's art or film or writing, poetry, whatever, will all end up available through Google or a company as large as Google. And all of those people will get paid what I call the Googleichi system, based on the Medici family, where they will sponsor you. They will pay your mortgage. They will pay for your food. They will pay for everything as long as you create for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and why not?
And it's the old model reinvented, actually, is what it is. So like I said, it's like when I realized Instagram, what it was the old model, what this platform actually was. It's why radio has come back in the way of podcasts, because it's not that these ideas have gone away, they've evolved. As our platforms have become more sophisticated, the presentation for them has become more sophisticated as well.
Yeah.
So it's just it's really, like I said, I try to keep track of all this stuff too, as much as I can, because you have to. It's the only way you can be flexible. And I realize you're a little bit bigger than me, so it's a little harder for you to keep track of everything.
Size doesn't matter. What happens for me is it's filtering. Right?
Yes.
So I have lots of other people who see what you see, and they filter it for me, so they only give me the information that's more pertinent for me that I need to act on quickly.
Yes.
It does give me a bit of a dark view of things that are on the outside of my periphery vision.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they're there, and as they become more and more important, then they pop into view.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you in terms of books? Like, what are the next projects coming up that you're actually really excited about right now?
This year was crazy. In the last 12 months, we did 25 books. That's a huge increase from the year before. The year before, we did 12 or maybe 11. So because we've gone into this new model, we flipped the model over that we've been using, which was to produce a print book and then follow that up by the ebook. We reversed that. Now we release the ebook first, followed by a print book. And that allows us to segregate ebooks away from the print books and just do ebooks if we want, or just do print-on-demand books. So it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to produce more things, because we have the same amount of time, but we don't have the same amount of money.
No, and also this gives you a lot more flexibility too, which is very important for a publisher today.
Yep.
Right.
It's sort of a hybrid model now.
Yeah.
Writers can get out and they can produce their own thing, and they can distribute it, and they can sell it. But they have to wear all of those hats still. They have to wear the writer's hat, the marketer's hat, the producer's hat, the sales guy's hat. That's a lot. That's a lot for any one group or small individual group of people or an individual person to go and do. When, as my friend Mark keeps telling me, the best thing to do is concentrate on your strength. So if you are a writer, concentrate on writing. Well, that means you have to partner with somebody whose other strength is production or layout or design or marketing.
Yep.
And that's what we've just recently done. We have made an arrangement with Mickey Mickelson, and he's a publicist, and he's going to work with us. He's not part of our company, but he's associated with our company to do publicity. Which you might even be doing that with us. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And he's my publicist too, for the simple reason, it's not that I can't market myself. It's just, one, I'm trying to market other people. And I find personally, if there's always a conflict when you're trying to market yourself, and you're trying to market other people, you're almost always going to root for yourself.
Always.
Yeah, it's human nature, and I don't want to do that. If I'm going to do this, I want to go all in and give it my absolute best. So
Well, the other factor is, at your younger age than my younger age, you can put in a 20-hour day and sleep 4 hours a night, 5 days a week. Well, these days I have to keep it down to 16. So
yeah, and that's fine, and that's. I want to get to the point where I'm down to 16. I really do. It's hard though. I promised somebody I'd take better care of myself. So I've been doing it. Like I said, some days though it's hard because it's really easy to forget.
is this somebody personal in your life?
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes. Although,
That's nice.
no, it just. But is it that obvious?
Well, you look happy, and happy is good.
Yeah. No. Like I said, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, like I said, it's we care for each other, and really, I guess at the end of the day, that's enough. So.
Yes, my wife motivates me in ways that you can't. No, wait, I should rephrase that.
No, actually, no, it's true though.
Having somebody in your life will give you a different view on how you motivate yourself.
Absolutely. If it's the right person, well, I knew this a long time ago. Like Napoleon is actually an interesting lesson in that he's an example of when you're with the right person that will make you, and when you're with the wrong person, it breaks you. With his first wife, he conquered the world. With his second wife, he lost it.
Not so much, yeah.
Yeah. So, which goes to show you is he should have stuck with his first wife. But anyways,
as he might have said, c'est la vie.
Yes, yes. That's the way it goes. But no, it's just no. I try to keep my promises. I try.
That's
So
good.
it's easy to forget though. So
It's nice to know that that little nugget about you. That's
yes,
great.
yeah. What did I keep my promises?
Oh, that nugget, in addition to the nugget that you're in a happy place in your life.
Yeah, I got there.
I said I wouldn't interview you. It sounds like I am, but nonetheless.
No, it's fine. This is a back and forth, and this wasn't turn the tables.
Yeah.
Heck, I should give it to you. I'll give it to you at the end. It was when we do our cut. When I give you my card. I still use the I write stuff thing. I mean, I came from that first time we talked, so like, so it works.
Yeah.
It fits me very well actually. So, but so
I should say, because I said this to you before we started recording, but I really like your website. It's developed over time to become something beautiful and useful and entertaining and imaginative, and that's a hard thing for anybody to get done and accomplished. And I congratulate you.
Oh, thank you. No, it took me a long time to brand like I said, I had to figure this out, a lot of this stuff on my own, and well, okay, I didn't have to, but it's just my nature, and I like the challenge of figuring things out. And once I figured it out, I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's make it happen and see if it actually works the way I see it does.
I agree. I think people shouldn't try to accomplish things that they've not. Shouldn't assume that they can accomplish things before they've tried to accomplish those things.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be an expert at some things, but you should at least know about them so other people can help you and you can give them good direction.
Well, that's it. I the biggest thing I realized I'm better at than a lot of writers. I was really shocked because I helped quite a few of them. Pitching.
Pitching is good.
Yeah, pitching.
It's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
A university teacher came by, and I was just sitting there, just kind of eating, kind of just charging up because I had like 4 interviews that day. And I'm like, I'm getting ready. It's like I listened to her. It's like, okay, tell you what, pitch me your book. So she did. I listened to her. I'm like, no. What's your? It's like strike 1, strike 2. All right. So do this. And then I haven't read her book, and I pitched her own book back to her. She looked at me and she was like, "That's better than what I did." And it's like, I haven't even read your book. That's how you should do this.
Yep. I mean, it's quite often as a writer, you're so involved in your own work that you don't really know what makes it interesting to the outside world. I mean, you might be talking within a fantasy situation about economics. You might be talking about social structure. But ultimately, if you tell the person, it's got a big ass dragon in it, you'll have their attention.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Well, you gotta find where's your actual. What I do is what's your actual story, right? And that's what draws people in. That answers 2 very important questions of 3. I look at this how I do every pitch. Who you are, what do you offer, why should they care?
Right.
right? If you can answer all 3 questions, even if that person says no, someone will say yes.
Yep. That's the number one question. Your last question is the number one question in news, in media.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, you've got a great story to tell me. It doesn't matter whatever it is. You know, you're going to donate blood, or you're having a kidney transplant, or you're doing something. It's like, why do we care? Why should I care? You know, I've got a population of millions of people listening to my radio broadcast or my podcast, but why should I care about your story?
Mm-hmm.
If you can answer that question, then the media is interested in you.
Absolutely, no. It's the real secret. I mean, if you can do that, you can pitch anything, and at the very least, I'll get your attention, and it'll be like, I'm interested, or I'm not interested, but it's really good, or it's this cool, whatever, right? So
Yep.
that's kind of the thing. So if people tried to hunt you down, I know you're half ninja.
I do the hiding thing pretty well.
Yes, but I mean, they have to have a way to actually contact you. So how would they do that?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm available everywhere in some way or another through Facebook and through Twitter and soon through Instagram. We just opened up our Instagram account, but email's the best way to go. So it's publisher at Hades Publications, all S's there.com. Or just look us up on the web under edgewebsite.com and you'll see our catalog of books, and there's contact information there.
All right. So that is
A wrap.
a wrap.
And that was my conversation with Ryan Hades back in September. It's actually nice to move forward now past When Words Collide. I have to take a moment here real quick. Every person that was at When Words Collide that took the time to talk to me, whoever you are, I thank you very much. My podcast is nothing without the people that are on it, and so I want to just take this opportunity. There were 13 of you. Got 14 episodes out of it. Thank you very, very much. Like I said, I met some really cool people. Adam Dries, H. Layton Dixon were brand new. G.W. Renshaw, we actually did a proper conversation. Vanessa Cardaway, looks like she might be on record right now as the all-time most played and downloaded podcast ever. I've had so far in my entire run, which is, I think, phenomenal. But yeah, no, I want to thank you guys very much. You helped make my podcast better, and I really appreciate it. And I want to close out with a fun Brian Hades story. Another one. One I wasn't too long ago, actually. I was at the Edmonton Expo. It was myself, Taya Van Diepen, Aviva Bell Harold, Ella Beaumont, Beth Wagner, and Brian Hades. And we were all sat there, and somewhere in there, I just looked at all the people. Beth's coming up on the show very soon. She's great. But all the rest have been on the show, and I just realized what we all had in common. And we're just all very driven people, and it's really interesting that this was the group that gathered together. I thought that was really, really cool. And I pointed out to him, he says, "You're too observant. Shut up." So, no, Brian has pointed me out to some really, really neat avenues, options, ideas, and I want to thank him, because I wouldn't be where I am today without him. So Brian, if you're listening to this, thank you very much. And that will do it for this week's episode of Just Josh, or today's episode, I should say. I'm too lazy to go back and fix that mistake, so it's there. Okay. Ron Freeman's my next guest, and he was a lot of fun. And I owe Ron a huge thank you too, and I'll talk about that in the next episode. But until then, buy my shirts, buy my cup mugs, buy my books, buy my clients' books. Find me on my webpage, Josh Penteloresco. Sign up for my newsletter at tinyletter.com/jpenteloresco. Pardon me. And if you want to get more real cool stuff from me on a regular basis, I should advertise some there. Find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram, blah blah blah. So no matter what you do, stay inspired out there. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, whatever that is. Alright, see you next time.
Josh.